Hello, everyone. My name is Ethan Williams, and I will be your instructor for this semester. If you are watching this video, you should be in MAC 1105, section 41 or 50. Additionally, if you are in MAC 1105C, section 27, which is another one of my courses, this video also applies. There will be some extra video for that class specifically, which you will see when you join the course. But ultimately, what I'm going to go through here is go through everything you need to know, what's on Canvas, is in the syllabus, and the pacing schedule. That's very important. And hopefully just touch on everything you will need for this course. So really the most important thing is going to be that inside our Canvas course, you will have everything that you need available to you. Of course, you can receive outside help, but you shouldn't really find yourself wondering, what else can I use for this course? Okay. So with that said, what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to go through mainly, like I said, what's on here, what's in Canvas, how the homework works, all that good stuff, kind of talk you through the syllabus. A lot of it's the same for every course, so I'll really stick to what's important for this course, and then also the pacing schedule and where to find all of this information. All right, so to start, I am on the home page, and this is the student view. So when you open up the Canvas course, you should see exactly this as well, unless if you set the default something else. On the home page, you'll pretty much find everything you'll need for the course. The top little section here is some course information. That's where we'll spend most of our time today. But in every section below, we're just going to have every basically main part of the course. So quizzes are all in here. There's practice tests, there's tests, and then the actual material. So you'll spend most of your time working on the homeworks, and later in the video, I will explain everything that you need to know about what's all in here for each section. But ultimately, that's really what's in here. So everything we have all the way into the bottom, except for some final exam materials, which you might not even really need to use. Everything will be exactly the same throughout the entire semester. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into this course information section. The first little tab here is student office hours. I'm going to go ahead and open that up, and you'll notice that I do have some Zoom office hours. These are online classes, so really Zoom office hours are not expected, but I still want to be able to provide you some. So I do have 3 office hours per week. They are in the evenings. Monday would be 7 to 9 p.m. all on Zoom there. So if you're not familiar with Zoom, it's pretty straightforward. You just go to this link and you should be able to join just fine. And then on Tuesdays, and really every evening, I'll be available. If you email me, I'll email you back either the evening or early in the morning the next day. So Monday through Friday, I'm always available as far as responding within 24 hours. But on Monday nights and Tuesday nights specifically, I will be by my computer ready to answer any questions you have. If you're more comfortable just emailing instead of getting on Zoom, of course, you can do that. The benefit of Zoom is that I will actively be interacting with you just as if you were physically in office hours. So, that type of interaction might be a little better for you, but you know what's best for you. All right, so that is what's in the office hours. Once again, if you're not familiar with Zoom, please let me know and I will help you out with that. The next little thing is a student resource tab. I have quite a few links here, and these could update, so they might be updated by the time the semester starts. Today is August 6th, so we got a couple weeks before the semester starts. But ultimately, this is a link to the Learning Commons website. So all the information you would want to know about the Learning Commons. If you're unfamiliar with the Learning Commons, that is TCC's basically study area, tutoring area. Physically on campus, they have computers, they have tutors, that you can get a lot of help there. but you can also do it through the internet. So you don't have to physically go, you don't have to be in Tallahassee to go to Learning Commons. And that is really the second link here. It's called Eagle Q for tutoring. And there's a little video with how to actually access it, which is helpful. In the bottom two resources here, virtual TCC, I'll go ahead and open that one so you can see there's a lot of things that you can get help with virtually, especially if you're not in Tallahassee. That's going to be very helpful for you. And then the other piece here, student resources, probably not as valid anymore because, as we know, the pandemic has been ongoing. But if there's any updates here, which there hasn't been, as you can see, since September 2021, but if there are any updates, they will be here with regards to COVID. So just keep in mind, I have that link for you. All right, the next little piece is the syllabus and pacing. I'll spend most of my time in there, but before I get to that, of course, you will be watching this video, but if you ever need to refer back to this video, it will be in here in the introduction video tab. There will be a free online graphing calculator available for you. So if you don't want to spend a lot of money on a graphing calculator, you don't think you'll need one in the future, you're just trying to get your math classes done and never have to worry about math again, I understand that, then you can use a free online graphing calculator. And I'll have a video, actually there's already one in here, on how to access it, how to use it, and you can use it on tests and every assignment that you have. So it's a very useful tool, and the most important thing is it's free, not $100. Okay. And there is a textbook for this course. You do not have to buy a textbook, but I will say I don't really recommend using this link, as you'll see when I go through the actual sections, how everything is set up. I have all the notes, videos for the notes, homework assignments set up. So you really don't need the textbook unless if you really want to use it. And then the last two links here are very specific. We have one section in this course where you do need to really know how to use the graphing calculator. On Desmos, it's very easy. On a TI-83 or 84, if that's what you have, it's a little more difficult, but you might need to learn how to use that if you have a future course in math that is going to require you to know how to use those calculators. So that link is there. And then some basics about using the TI-83, very similar to the TI-84. So if you have either of those, it'll work just fine. All right, so in the syllabus and pacing, it's exactly like it says. We have a syllabus and pacing for the course. Now, the syllabus is just a PDF. I already have it opened here. I will run through it, but I do actually prefer to talk about the pacing first. It's an Excel file, so you should be able to open it just fine. You can open it in your browser. But if you don't have the ability to open an Excel file, let me know. Everyone should be able to. But if you have trouble opening it, just send me a message. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is just drag it over here, so I don't have to wait and download it through this video for you. And I just want to show you what's on the pacing. This is really just a schedule week by week from the very start, August 22nd. That is the wrong year if you actually click on it. So let me go ahead and just change that now. Until the end of the semester. So everything is set up for you as far as what's expected to be done week by week. And this will line up with what is actually due on Canvas. The thing I really recommend here is that if you really like to maintain a structured schedule, I would print this out. I give you the Excel file, so if your printer would look weird, maybe it's a black and white printer and these colors would mess it up, then you can just, edit Excel itself. But ultimately, what you'll notice here is that on Fridays are when homeworks are due. Saturdays are when discussion is due, and Sundays are when quizzes or tests are due. And so that structure will maintain itself throughout the semester. The one exception is that one Friday, November 11th, is Veterans Day, so there's no classes, which means I won't actually make the homework for that week due that day. So it'll also be due on the Saturday, and you'll see that on Canvas. All right, so just be aware of that, but you'll get the hang of it pretty quickly, what's due Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And like I said, I would recommend just having this because there's a lot of little information like the important dates down here. Tests are important dates. I have those bolded. When the holidays are, last day to add a class, drop a class with a refund, or or be able to withdraw. Of course, you don't get a refund for that. And just little extra things like practice tests are due the day before tests. And then we have one special practice test just to get you ready for Honor Lock if you're not familiar with that, how to sign on to that and everything, due September 11th. Okay, so that is the pacing guide, very important. Would recommend that over referring to anything else unless if you can easily get on Canvas, just because it has everything consolidated, and unless if there's something like a hurricane or anything else that would throw off the weeks, that's what we'll be sticking to throughout the semester. All right, and then the other thing is the syllabus. The syllabus, of course, is really the document that tells you how this class is going to be run. And like I mentioned at the beginning, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and really step on the highlights here, what you really need to know from here, and don't want to bore you with all the details that's in every syllabus, just what's important. All right. So like I said at the beginning, my name is Ethan Williams. The office location is virtual. It's on Zoom. Some office hours are email only, but Monday nights is on Zoom. And my email address is right here, but you can also message me on Canvas, which is fine. So if you need to contact me, that's absolutely the best way to contact me, unless if you would prefer that live interaction on Zoom. All right, so required text and materials. Like I said before when I was talking about it, there's not really a required textbook. You don't have to buy one. So that's beneficial to you. And the textbook that is in the course is not really needed itself because of the way I have the class set up. It's very organized. You have videos, notes, and all the material, hopefully, that you need for success in this course. Additionally, all homework assignments like quizzes and tests, everything is done on Canvas. I'll show you how you access that. That is basically free as soon as you join the class, and that's because you pay a little fee for the online portion of the course. So just be aware of that. You don't have to buy anything else once you join the class. It's all inside your tuition and fees. The best calculators, like I said, are the TI-83 or 84 if you have one. However, those are about $100. If you don't really have a need for a graphing calculator and you don't think you'll need one, you'll be plenty fine using the free online graphing calculator, which I talked about before, Desmos. And you probably need a scientific calculator to go along with it. If you don't have one already, a TI-30, there's a lot of TI-30s like 30X, 30S, other things like that. They're all fine and they cost between $10 and $20. So much cheaper than $100, and that's the route I would go. Unless if you're on the track of I want to be a math, engineering, chemistry type major. All right. And to be in this course, you either passed MAT 1033, which is intermediate algebra with a C or better, or you scored appropriately. You took enough courses in high school to meet a requirement. Right. Technical skills, just pretty straightforward. We use Outlook for email. You know that if you if you started the semester, and being able to use and navigate Canvas. So hopefully when I go through and show you how Canvas works, if it's new to you, then that will be enough. And additionally, all the videos I have, they are uploaded on YouTube. So you just click a link, it takes you to the YouTube video, and just, of course, knowing how to use YouTube, that's pretty straightforward. All right, course description. I won't bore you with the details here. Just really the most important thing is this course is a prerequisite for a lot of different courses. There's MAC 2233, which is like business calculus. There's MAC 1114 and MAC 1140, which are trig and pre-calc. And there are also science courses that you need to take this course for. I believe chemistry is one of them. And if you take physics, I believe you have to at least take pre-calculus as well. So you have to take this to take pre-calculus. This is a very important course if you're a science or math type of major. Learning outcomes, you can read these if you want. They're just very general what you're going to learn in this course. If you haven't gone through these topics, then they don't really mean anything to you. So I'm not going to spend time talking about them specifically. We will learn them throughout the course. Communication with the instructor, like I said, email is the best way, or the Zoom office hours. I will respond to any emails or messages within 24 hours if you email me Monday through Friday until 5 p.m. on Friday, which is when the weekend starts. I may be able to respond on a Saturday or Sunday, but I cannot guarantee it. So just beware. And I add a little note here. I know that quizzes and tests specifically, are due on Sundays. If you have some issue with getting onto a test, which can happen, just send me a message. Say, hey, I tried to do this. This is what I'm seeing. You can even send a screenshot if you want. Don't panic. Just let me know and we will take care of it. Just make sure you have a reason as to why you weren't able to complete the test on Sunday with some proof, and we'll get you situated. But you do want to try your best to stay on time throughout this course if there's a lot of work. So don't want to fall behind as long as you can prevent it. All right, online testing. Because this is an online course, we take all of our tests online as well. If you're not familiar with HonorLock, you will become familiar with it. That's what we use at TCC to take our online courses or online tests. It's only for tests in the final exam, so any assignment, any quiz, you will not need to use HonorLock. So there's only 3 tests and a final exam, so 4 times throughout the semester you will need to use HonorLock. There's also a practice HonorLock test, which will be due a couple weeks in, which is just an assignment to get you familiar signing on to HonorLock. So if you've done it before, it's a free homework grade. Otherwise, it'll be very useful, so you know what to expect when you try to get on for the real thing. And there's some links in here. They're also in Canvas if you have any questions about how to get onto HonorLock. I also have a video on Canvas as far as accessing HonorLock and going through the process correctly. But I guess we'll scroll up here. Most importantly, you have to have Google Chrome. So if you don't use that browser, just install it. If you want to just install it when you take these tests and then you want to remove it or whatever, you can feel free to do that. But you need that because you need the HonorLock Chrome extension, which is only available on Google Chrome. And then the other things you'll need to take your test, you'll need to show your ID to prove that you are the actual person that's supposed to be taking the test. And for the most part, that's it. So Google Chrome, ID. Oh, I guess, of course, to make sure you are being recorded and everything, you need a webcam. So Google Chrome, webcam, and ID. Download the extension. You'll be ready to take the test. All right, probably the most important thing people like to know when they join a course is, how are we going to be graded? So here is the components kind of like set up. So, you know, if you don't have the pacing available for you for whatever reason and you have the syllabus, then you can look at this too. We have discussions. These are required for online courses. They're worth 5% of your overall grade. Doesn't sound like much, but it can add up. And these are discussions that shouldn't take you more than 15 to 30 minutes per week to do. And it's really, you do it, as long as you do it and follow the directions, you'll get full points. So you'll have an initial post due by Saturday. Basically, you'll be talking about, okay, how did I feel? What was easy? What was hardest this week? And then respond to 2 of your peers' initial posts by Sunday. All right, so everything for the end of the week needs to be due by Sunday anyway. Make the initial post due by Saturday so you can go on there and hopefully have other people to respond to by Sunday. All right. Homework is 20% of your grade. It's due on Fridays. The homework is very important. I put a higher weight on homework than the most math professors because I know and understand the importance. If you have a failing grade for homework, it's very hard to pass a math course. If you have a passing grade, it makes it a lot easier. Homework is just like the quizzes. Homework is just like the tests. Of course, they're longer because you have so many homework sections, but if you master those, it will really help. Online quizzes, similar to homework, except that you won't have unlimited tries. And I'll show you how that works when we get later in the video. But you'll have a quiz every week. There isn't a test, and those are worth 10% of your overall grade. They're due on Sundays. The weeks where we have tests, they take the place of the quizzes. So you will never have a quiz the same week as a test. These are their dates, they're due, and they're each worth 15% of your grade. With the exception of the final exam, that's cumulative, that's worth 20% of your grade. All right, practice tests, I don't require them. They're not worth any percentage of your final grade, but they are worth some extra credit, which I will show you how that works a little later in this video as well. They're always due the day before tests. So since tests are due Sundays, they're due on the corresponding Saturdays. For the final exam, it would be due on the Tuesday right before the final exam. And then the grading scale, pretty normal. A is the 90s, B is the 80s, C is 70s, D is 60s, and F is below 60. As far as rounding goes, because I'll always get that question, I'll do pretty standardly. If you get an 89.5 or above, I would rarely not round that up. I would certainly round it up. I couldn't think of a reason why I wouldn't round it up. But that's already rounding. So if you have an 89.3, 89.4, realize you missed that cutoff. And you do have opportunities throughout the semester to get that extra credit. So if you're doing your extra credit and you land there, realize, hey, I tried, I got close, just wasn't close enough. I would have been farther away if I didn't do that extra credit. Right. As far as the homework quizzes, how they're set up, I'm not going to go through the details here. But really what I'm going to say is everything is done with something called Lumen Ohm. Online Homework Manager is what that stands for. But you have immediate access to this as soon as you join the course. The homework is the one place where you can use what's called a late pass. You will be given plenty of late passes at the beginning of the semester, but I will not give additional ones. I give more than probably anyone because I don't want you to fail. If there's some reason why you're not able to keep up, I want you to be able to do those homeworks. But I give you so many that if you're using more than I give you, you might need to evaluate where you stand in the course. All right. So another question, I guess, because a lot of people will be familiar with late passes, is that you do not get extra credit for not using them. So if you need to use them, of course, do. And I will show you how to use late passes as well. Quizzes will be pretty much accessed the same way as homework, but homework you get unlimited tries. Quizzes you'll only get 4 attempts per question. That's why they're quizzes. It's not one like a test, so you do get some extra buffer there, but just beware that quizzes are not exactly like homeworks, and you cannot use late passes on them. All right, tests, talk about that at another time. Probably the main difference here is that they are timed. You get 90 minutes for a unit test and 2 hours for the final exam. You will have to access them through HonorLock for the unit tests and final exams. For the discussion board posts, I'll just go to one a little later in the video and show you how they work. And then practice tests, this is the main thing. This is the extra credit for the course. I don't like to give a lot of extra credit. The reason being is that we, as humans, we tend to focus on extra credit more than the actual credit. And I don't want you to do that. But practice tests are something that are very, very beneficial. They're almost identical to the real tests. They work exactly like homework assignments in that sense that you can answer questions as many times as you want. And the bonus is if you get at least a 90% on a practice test, once again, I'll reiterate, they're just like homeworks. So you don't have to get them 90% correct on your first try. You have unlimited tries. Then I will give you a 3% boost to that corresponding test score. That might not sound like a lot, but if you do that for all 3 tests and the final exam, that is 2% on your overall grade at the end of the semester. So just kind of going back to my example above, if you had an 88 and you did all your extra credit, you would have a 90, that's an A. If you had an 87, you did all your extra credit, that still gives you an 89, but it's not an A. So keep in mind that the extra credit is there to help you, and that's sort of the bonus, if you will, for extra rounding, and why I don't round further than the half point. All right, I'll let you go ahead and read that. As far as conduct and discipline, just basically don't cheat, and you won't have to worry about this section. Attendance. Really, attendance, we are required to take attendance every week in the course. So how does attendance work with online courses? Well, you will be marked as attended as long as you participate in some way for the course during the week. Now, as far as attendance, what does week mean? Really Monday through Friday. But you do have things to do Saturday and Sunday. So if you don't do something Monday through Friday, initially you would be marked as late or not attended. But if you do something by the Saturday or Sunday, then I will mark you as attended. All right, so just keep that in mind. If you are in a situation where you can't do anything, maybe you have some family emergency, you are sick, something else that is not allowing you, just send me a message saying, hey, I'm running into some personal issues. You don't have to give me any description of that. Just let me know. As long as you contact me, I will mark you as excused. So basically, excused means you attended, for lack of a better term, for an online course. If you do stop attending, meaning participating in anything throughout the semester, I will reach out to you. You will be marked as unattended for the course, but I will not withdraw you myself. So that's something you will have to do on your own. And I'll reiterate, for the important deadlines, the withdrawal to get a W on your transcript, you would want to do this. This was preferred to getting, say, an F. You would want to do that if there's really no way you think you can come back and complete the course and get the grade you would normally earn. Right. Just, once again, scroll through these little things that are in all of any syllabus. Some really, really basic things about online communication. So when you talk, have your not talk, you're not going to physically talk, but when you type in your discussion boards, just some very basic rules here. I'm not going to go through all of them, but of course, just write a message as if you were writing an email to someone professionally. Okay, so try to not write in all capital letters, even if something's really exciting to you. It might not be interpreted the same way as to someone else. Try not to use acronyms that people might not be familiar with. You're just not sure if they would be or not. Try to, use proper grammar, punctuation, spelling, all that stuff. We all make mistakes, typos. Obviously, you're not going to be reprimanded for them, but basically just type as you would professionally, or if you were writing an English paper or something. Right. Tips for success. really the tips for success is to not get behind in this course. If you don't get behind in this course, you do your homeworks, you do your quizzes, you watch the videos that go along with the material, you will succeed. And if you're struggling, reach out and I can help you. Or if you know someone else that can help you, of course, go there. Learning Comments, any of those resources. You should be able to succeed, and I want to be there to help you if you need the pushing, need the help. Another thing is doing all the work that is assigned. I've been teaching for quite a while. I've had plenty of semesters where students think they can just take the tests and pass. Well, one thing you may have noticed, and I'll just go back here. So I don't scroll all the way up to the syllabus. It's just kind of like remind you, how are all the material weighted? Well, the 3 tests are 45% of your grade and the final is 20. So combined, they are 65% of your grade. It is literally impossible to pass this class if you only do the tests. Right? Even if you're getting hundreds on all of them, which would be amazing if you don't do any homework or quizzes, you still need to do the other material. And I do not design my courses to give you just busy work. All the homework assignments, I carefully pick the questions. I am very thorough in thinking how many of these questions would really help. So I don't give you 30 question homework assignments. They're more like 10 to 15. Okay, so just make sure you are very careful about staying on track. And that's really it. I guess the main thing that I bold here, you can read this full last paragraph, but the important thing is that, grades are earned, not given. I'm more than happy to help you succeed throughout the course, but if you're begging me for a grade that you did not get at the end of the semester because you need to satisfy some scholarship, I cannot do that for you. Right? So if you get a C and you really need a B, well, that's something that you should communicate at the beginning of the semester, and we can work on a plan to help you stay on track to get that B. That is not something you bring up when you're taking the final exam, especially because at that point, there's nothing else we can do. All right, so that's the syllabus. And now I'll go back to the home page. So I clicked on the syllabus page because the syllabus is there. But like I said, I just try to keep everything on this front page so you don't really have to navigate too much. All right, so like I said, even though I described things for you throughout the syllabus, I do have little helpful things as well. So under the quizzes, there's a little link on how quizzes work. And it just pretty much describes exactly what I said. They're very similar to homework, but you only get 4 tries per problem. After your 4th try, if your answer is still incorrect, that's it, and you cannot do it again. I would recommend, even though if you watch this video, to read through this occasionally, maybe before you take your first or second quiz. If you forget how do they work, just go here and read this. Okay. The next little section here, practice tests. I have a little practice test bonuses, how it works. So exactly like I described in the video, with an example here. One thing I do want to reiterate is that getting a 90% on the practice test to get your bonus is very strict. The reason it is very strict is because practice tests are just like homeworks. You can do them over and over and over again. And you do each problem one at a time, which I'll show you in a minute. So if you're at an 89.9, you just need to work on and improve one problem a little bit to get that 90. I'm not going to give you the bonus. If you're below a 90, I have to make the cutoff somewhere, and that cutoff is 90%. And you cannot use late passes as it says there. All right, I'll come back to the quizzes and practice tests specifically. This test section, you'll click through these links to get on HonorLock. HonorLock will take you onto the test, and we'll simulate that with the practice HonorLock test here. Now I'm going to go ahead and just show you, if you go to the HonorLock's FAQs, there's videos, there's videos of how to get on HonorLock. There's a video I made down here of how to get onto HonorLock as well. And basically all you need. So click here. I say enter here prior to your first test, but really you're going to enter here prior to taking the practice test on September 11th. Okay. And now I'm going to just show you how the course is set up. So Unit 1 will start, of course, at the beginning. Every little section. So the first section here is 1.1, solving questions, solving equations. Second section, 2.1, this stuff, 2.2, and so on. Basically, Unit 1 goes all the way down here through linear applications. That's what's ultimately on Test 1. And then when we get to Unit 2, that would start material for Test 2 and so on. But what's most important is what I have in each section for you. So in each little section, besides this little introduction, it's just how to enter answers. There's a lecture video. There might be more than one. Some sections have more than one. It's a link on YouTube, so you can just click on this and it'll open up on YouTube. I don't know why, but they started putting advertisements on my videos and I'm not happy about it, but try to fix that. But anyway, it will go through and show you how to do the problems in this section. Now, if you're wondering, okay, how do I know what problems? Well, actually, it's exactly corresponded to the next two little things, which are the notes. So if you go to the blank notes, it's exactly like it sounds like. I have a little cover page, which you don't need to concern yourself with. But if you download this, you have a touch screen, you print this out, that'll save you some time, or you can just follow along the video. These are the problems I solve in the video, and they correspond similarly to the homework questions. Right? First section's a little different than all the rest of the sections in that it's a little bit of a review. So just keep that in mind. There's a lot more questions in this section that we do in a lecture video than normal. Right? But on that, maybe you walk through, you watch the video, you do all the notes, fill it out. What if you misplace your notes? Well, I also have the filled out versions. It can be very intimidating to just look at this if you're not comfortable with math, if you haven't looked at the material. So I don't recommend just jumping in here. But what it is it's everything I did when I went through and made the video. Now keep in mind, of course, I go through one at a time. I don't jumble all this at once. That's why I said, unless if you watch the video, just opening this and looking at some of this is really, really confusing, and I wouldn't recommend doing it. But I write little notes here throughout the videos of like why something is happening and how it works. And I think that can be helpful as well. I know some people really like using these filled out notes, but for most, I would start with watching the video with the blank notes. Right? So really how I recommend is doing any section is like this. I'm going to go ahead and pretend I was trying to learn section 1.1. What would I do? Well, I would start by downloading the blank notes, open up the video, not going to open up again, but start watching the video. And what I would do is I would just work through, follow this one problem. Okay, do I understand how that works? All right, sorry, gotta agree to this since I'm a new user. That's all you have to do. And I guess this is a good point, even though I'll jump into the homework, but this isn't due yet, so you don't need to redeem a late pass to start it or even go back into it. So you don't have to only use late passes before you start. You can go into them at any time, but you just hit this button if it's overdue, redeem late pass, and you redeem it. And now what was originally due on Friday, since each late pass extends your deadline by 3 days, it's now due Monday. You can redeem another one. But anyway, I'm going to go through and show you how I would do this section. So just to reiterate again, maybe I watch the video, okay, I understand how to do this. Should be very similar to the questions in here in order. It's designed that way. So, okay, if I can watch and understand how to solve something like this, then I can watch through and how to solve something like this. And maybe the next one, this one's very similar. Then I try to do that one. And then maybe this one looks a little bit different. So I try to figure out how to do that one, watch more of the video, etc. All right, but I do want to show you how the homework actually works. So what I'm going to do is just answer this one. And you'll get used to this as you go, but I just want to really show you how all this works. So this problem is worth 4 points. That's really just the generic problem in this course. I make them all worth 4 points. It's not really that important. But let's say I answer this and I do it out and I get, okay, I think this answer is 3. Well, that wasn't right. So what happens is I can try it again. So, and you can hover over here to see what all this means. So currently I have 0 out of 4 points. I have 2 tries remaining on this question. So you get 3 tries per question, but you can also get a similar question after 3 tries, and it's set to 100 times. So you can get a new question 100 times. It's not actually unlimited, but hopefully you're not using 100 tries. So then you rework it and you say, okay, maybe I think the answer is this, and you get it right. Well, now you have your 4 points. You could answer it again, although you got it right, and it saves your progress. So that's why this is right here. It saves your progress, recorded score. You have 4 out of 4 on this problem. You can also see your score is now 4 out of 76. So everything is saved automatically as soon as you hit the submit question button. Now I go to the next question and I do the same thing. I'm going to get it wrong on purpose 3 times so you can see what happens. I don't know the answer, so hopefully I get it wrong 3 times. So after 3 times I get it wrong, this little key will pop up and it tells me what the correct answer is. That's very nice, but the important thing is I'm not done. I don't have to stop here. I don't have to just go to the next question. I just get a similar question. It will be similar, and then you try it again. And you do your 3 tries. Hopefully, eventually you get it right. And as soon as you get it right, of course, like I showed you with the first one, it will save your progress. Right. Now, as far as other things that are in here, there is this video button. So it'll bring up, if you open this, it'll bring up the video that the actual homework itself has inside. I forgot you can't actually click it, right click. And you're more than welcome to watch these. I think they can be helpful, but I would not use them as your primary videos. I would definitely start with my videos because I specifically made them and they're more annotated. All right, but that's how the homework works. So I'm going to go back. That's pretty much how every section works. And I'm just going to go up here so you can see the differences when I go to a quiz. I'll do it the same way. You'll notice here, though, you get 4 tries on this question, but you don't see that other thing. You cannot redo it after your 4 tries. So if I answer this 4 times and it's wrong all 4 times, you'll notice I do not have a get a new try here. So I'm stuck with my 0 out of 4 points, and it will tell me the right answers if there's more than one. And I go to my next question. I would do the same thing. And of course, quizzes work exactly the same way in that if you get a question right, it saves your progress. I guess one thing that's really important that I'm going to actually touch on now is you do not have to do homework, quizzes, and practice tests in one sitting. So let's say I only answered the first question of this quiz. This would work for homework or practice tests as well. Maybe I have all of a sudden I have to go. I was planning on doing this whole quiz and now I have to go. Well, if you exit out, which I'll go ahead and do, bring me back to the home page, and just to kind of refresh everything, I'll hit refresh. I know I didn't finish quiz 1, but if I click on it, it will have my progress saved, and I just hit resume. Right? You're not forced to finish in one sitting. And that goes for quizzes, homeworks, and practice tests. The only things you have to finish in one sitting are the tests and the final exam. Okay. In the practice test, I'll just very briefly go in and just show you what I mean. It's just like a homework assignment, so go into it. We have 25 questions on this practice test, but you'll see I get 3 tries and I get 99 more similar questions. So if I answer it wrong my 3 times, it'll give me the right answer. I'll get my similar question and repeat. Okay, so just like homework, practice tests. All right, for the most part, that is everything about this course and how it's structured. I'll just go to everything else that's in here. We talked about the homework homepage, which is really everything. I very briefly clicked on the syllabus page, but the syllabus page is just the syllabus and pacing as well. It has the schedule, so it's pretty much the pacing, but spread out, so it's a little harder to read. It has the way your grade is weighted at the end of the semester. The nice little thing about this calendar here is it highlights in gray the days things are due. You'll notice that nothing is actually due on Saturdays because the discussions are officially due on Sundays. You just need to start them by Saturday. All right, so what other tabs are in here? What do you need to know how to do? You don't really need to go to announcements just because they are going to pop up. And these are all my old announcements, so this will be blank when the course begins, but these are just the announcements. This is the place where I will put all the information for the course, reminders, what's due this week, when is it due, because, you know, as a student, it's sometimes easy to forget. All right, Zoom. This is the Zoom link. We don't have any meetings officially because office hours aren't official meetings. You don't have to come to them, and I don't want them sending you, you know, a little message saying, hey, you're supposed to go get on Zoom at 7 to 9 on Monday nights. All right, this is just a reminder that, hey, we have Zoom office hours. They're available to you. I showed you how to access them earlier. This is simply a reminder, so you won't go here. Discussions, pretty straightforward as far as answering discussions. Not sure why it's not in order at the moment, but week 2 will be the first discussion, and really what you're going to do in any discussion, the directions are always the same. You will have your week 2 learning outcomes, which is basically what the homeworks were about in week 2. And you will make an initial post stating the learning outcomes you are most comfortable with, the ones that you found the most challenging and why they was challenging. This has actually really been beneficial in the past because when you get your peer responses, some students will actually help you out, and that's really nice. And then on top of that, maybe you thought a particular question or questions were difficult. You'll probably find that your fellow classmates feel the same way. And because of that, if I notice patterns, then I will make announcements on like, hey, maybe here's an extra resource for this topic. Okay. But this is really useful. And like I said, this isn't something that I want you spending a lot of time on. It's just really for you to interact with your classmates and hopefully learn something from, because your classmates can teach you things as well, not just me. Syllabus already went to. The other tab that you'll probably spend the most time in, because everyone's most interested in why it's why you take any college course, is for the grade. So the second you start an assignment, you will get a score, even if you don't answer anything correctly. So you'll notice for that quiz, it says 0. That's not official because, of course, I would still have time. It's not due till September 4th anyway, and you can go back in. But it can be a little scary. I've definitely gotten questions before. Someone tells me they got a 0 on their quiz, but they had just started. It's because you can go back in and work on it. So grades pop up as you start assignments. They do not pop up once the assignment is due. There are videos called Study Edge videos. They're probably not active right now, so this probably won't load because it's not the actual semester, but they're little helpful videos as well. Personally, I've watched some of the videos. I think they go way too fast if you're just using them to learn from, but they can be a quick refresher. But I'll let you know when this is available. And if you have questions about it, we'll be happy to talk to you. You don't have to go to this honor lock tab ever. In fact, it doesn't even say you can right now. But ultimately, the important thing is you don't have to go to this tab because this is just for me. I have to have this available so that I can edit things as necessary. But if I keep it hidden from you, then it won't even let you try to access honor lock, and therefore you can never get to your tests. Smart Thinking, it's an online tutoring service. I will say right now that students in the past haven't had a lot of success with it because it's basically outsourcing tutoring from the Learning Commons. It's really used for those times when the Learning Commons is not open, like the weekends or the late nights. It can be helpful, but basically the tutor you get, you're not really sure on who it's going to be. Just being honest with you, it's in a service there that if you used it before and had success, of course use it, but I put it near the bottom for a reason. And the last thing, this is just attendance. You probably will never have to go through and look at this. This is also for me. So I have to keep it available so I can actually record attendance, but you don't really need to ever go to it. In fact, you might not be able to actually go ahead and authorize. Yeah, so right now there's an issue with it anyway, probably because the semester is not started. But hopefully that gives you a good idea of what is going on. All right, so just to really reiterate, and I appreciate you. I know these videos, intro videos, are usually about 50 minutes, but it's basically putting the first day of class when we would be going through all this stuff into a video. Really, it's how is this class going to work? What's available to you? What's there for you? And really, I hope you made maybe a little notes here and there. But if you have any questions, please let me know. And as for the comment I made at the beginning, if you are an MAC1105C, section 27, this video applies to 99% of what you're going to do, but there's a little bit extra for that course, and there will be another video about those extras, which I will describe in that video. All right, but looking forward to the semester, and I hope you are as well. And as always, I'm here to help. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye-bye.